look at your cute little outfit. Look at you. You like your pretty skirt?
I see.
You want to see? Look, there's a puppy. And the cutest girl. Are you the cutest girl? Yes.
Two frogs in trouble. That's the name of the tale, yeah. Big frog snooze near the pond as the sun warmed a large hump of his back. What a great day for doing nothing. He thought to himself. Flip, 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 little frogs just off all the pond. Big frog's eyes were wide open now. Plop, plop, ploppity plop. Follow little frog. Plop, plop. They jumped straight into a pail of fresh milk. Sides of the pail were slippery, and the frogs couldn't get out. Help, help. Turn it down a little bit. Just a little bit. Turn down a little bit while you're mixing. That's sounding fresh though. That's dope.
We started this documentary over 10 years ago for so many reasons. Being a therapist of a multitude of healing systems over the last 20 years and the founding facilitator of a neuromuscular system based on activating the body to heal itself, I have witnessed a great disconnect in not just Western culture, but globally around touch and the power of our own healing technology. In fact, most practitioners or therapists I know or speak with can't believe how much we don't know graduating from high school, going through anatomy and physiology education, even for basic certification. My personal experience was no different, and I really liked anatomy and physiology in high school. Upon diving into the first healing institute I trained at, I was really surprised how much I wasn't educated on how my body really worked as we went through the curriculum. As the course continued, I became aware that our body was such a complex and intricate healing machine that requires far more focus of curriculum and class infrastructure than our institutionalized education system is giving us and our children. Throughout our education from childhood to adulthood, we have our primary growth and development, and by all logic, reason, and higher awareness, it would be pivotal for a species evolution to know how their body works as it develops and comes into its first stages of maturity. I began speaking to clients at the time, and colleagues of mine like Dr. Colso and the great Santos Panacci, and eventually all patients in the clinic about the importance of self-knowledge on how your organic supercomputer works. That's truly what it is, a supercomputer. I developed NMRT around that divine principle as it's reflected throughout the ancient yogic sciences and the Tao. I was raised in these sciences in the West as I am a child of the baby boomer generation and was raised in the Kriya yoga system of Paramahansa Yogananda and, as many know her, the hugging saint, Amachi. It was a fascinating paradox to be raised in the Eastern spiritual sciences in the Western culture before they were westernized into a trendy New Age spiritual movement. Learning to meditate was given to me as a tool from childhood, and although I was hypnotically drawn into the Western culture via the Tell You vision and all of its indoctrination, I always had these spiritual tools or teachings, these homeopathic remedies, and touch to connect with to source. I also saw a clear differentiation of many programs at work in the collective consciousness, disconnected from spirit, lost in the Maya, the illusion of the matrix, and disconnected from touch or healing thyself. I was actually raised on the principle of homeopathy without really understanding it until later in life, having to heal myself from a knee injury from playing sports in high school that left me unable to really squat comfortably at 18 years old. I was facing knee surgery for my ACL, or at least that's what Western medicine had told me my solution was.
How does Western medicine address the problem of health and diseases? Well, they usually use very obtrusive interventions such as operations or chemical treatments because they have a bad model. It's called allopathy. So naturopathy and homeopathy use natural remedies, herbs, crystals, natural treatments, tinctures, spagyrics, essential oils, tissue salts, and things like that. So Western medicine is interventional when it comes to the disease being fully manifest. They don't do much about preventative. They don't do much about educating people as to what herbs, what other natural things can help them. So Western medicine, because of their bad model, use bad methods.
That was a turning point for me that led to uncovering this system to activate the body's inner physician or inner healer that will literally heal you. In order to truly understand our healing technology, let's go back to the drawing board to look at how your body really mechanically works. Since humanity has been so deeply integrated to technology and the transhumanistic agenda, let's look at the body like a machine. Not like some simple machine. With over 1 trillion cells working together to perform thousands of functions daily, we're talking about a supercomputer. The human body is actually an electromagnetic mobile device, believe it or not. Let's look at how it functions, how it is powered, how it's designed to be activated and awakened, and how it is designed to be serviced to prevent damage and prolong optimal performance. Unlike your computer or phone, you only get one of these devices. If taken care of properly, that's all you need. That's how amazing our divine technology is, in all of its complexity and brilliance. I trust that by the end of this journey, you'll see that without a doubt, you have been given the most state-of-the-art divine technology, and your journey exploring what it can do is just beginning. Now, in order to do this, let's create an avatar of our divine electromagnetic supercomputer / human being. We'll call him Jake. My son actually came up with that name, so we'll just go with it. To really get the totality of our tech avatar, we really should go all the way back to when it's brand new and first powers up. No, not that far. Let's start from when we first power up and begin recording content. From the moment we are born, our consciousness is recording. How, you ask? Your consciousness experience is a chemical process, meaning your device is designed to chemically record everything that you feel and everything that you physically do in your avatar, and it is logged into the chemical memory of your body throughout a 24-hour day. 7 days a week, 365 days a year, for your entire life. This chemical accumulation of life experiences is similar to the accumulation of bacteria and plaque from using your mouth / consumption device to consume fuel for your vehicle daily. Born into the physical realm from energy, consciousness is always directing the form, but is instantly stimulated in a 5-sense reality that begins conditioning you right from the trauma of your birth. This is your dad. This is your mom. Oh, and all the mommy-daddy issues. Hey, just because your parents had kids didn't mean they worked all their trauma and stress out, so their trauma and stress becomes your trauma and stress, along with the kid who picked on you in 4th grade, and on and on. Then comes the indoctrination of the world. This is a cat. This is a dog. This is a fork. This is a screwdriver. This is black. This is white. This is science. This is God. Now add in the transhumanistic movement to indoctrinate and integrate technology into all culture and society on a global level. Everything about our reality gets defined, especially in institutionalized education systems, which most of us have gone through. It is a process like everything about this life, and there are so many layers of deconditioning that begin to happen psychologically from trauma that I was witnessing come out along with the physical trauma.
That's the hard thing to realize, is a majority of what you say is unoriginal. You're recycling things you've heard, that your parents said, or a phrase you thought was cool on TV, or something you read in a magazine, or a book that inspired you. So much of you is manufactured. Because we live in a society where that's what it produces. It doesn't produce authentic, unique individuals. It produces carbon copies. It produces manufactured humans. And everything that you identify with, everything that you believe in, beliefs are just thoughts you formed emotion around, and now it's your belief. It doesn't mean it's valid, it doesn't mean it's true, it's just what you believe. It's not real. What's real is when you strip all that shit away, you see how much of it you're attached and identified to, you let it go, and then you see what's left. What remains? What comes back in and still feels good in your body? You are the most optimal version of yourself in this moment that you ever have been. But that doesn't get to fully be expressed because chemically you're holding all those other versions of yourself and you don't even realize it. And they come out in times when they shouldn't. They come out in times when that pure form of you should be stepping up to create new experiences. They come out in times when you're triggered from your past. And those past triggers, life will naturally be flicking you with, because that's how life works. It's gonna keep flicking things that you have issues with until you deal with them. That's how it works. And it's way harder to deal with those things if you're carrying the less conscious version of you that's gonna get triggered, see? If you're the present conscious version of you, you can really have a more objective place to witness and transcend them from, right? And that's the exciting thing about this work, is it's about transcendence, it's about freedom, which ultimately leads to learning to love yourself and being more authentic.
I was able to heal my ACL organically and did not have to have that surgery. I remember going back to the doctor that had diagnosed me and the look on his face when he examined me and saw that my ACL had completely regenerated itself. I saw clearly that Western medicine had lost touch or disconnected with this foundational engineering of the very species it was supposed to be working with for healing. This is a great segue point to introduce a word we're going to use a lot in referencing this chemical residue that comes from the avatar experience of being human and all that comes with it. That word is STRAUMA. What is STRAUMA? The avatar accumulates stress daily in the human experience, as well as event-based traumas over time in service to you, the user. It can be broken down in this simple equation. Stress plus trauma plus time equals STRAUMA. Just as a general daily maintenance of your mouth from daily usage is required to maintain oral hygiene, so too is a general daily maintenance of physical palpation and stimulation to the body's tissue to release it from accumulation and activate it to heal itself. So we got the memo as a collective for oral hygiene. Why didn't we get the memo for what seems to be a very important body chemical hygiene that produces far more damaging results from being neglected. Body brushing and flossing? Question mark. That's what the science says. The human body is designed to be touched, to move all this STRAUMA that over time weights you down. The weight of the world on your shoulders. Quite literally. It's heavy news, I know. Well, have no fear. Your supercomputer is designed for this process and actually has an app for that. That's right. There's a program on your hard drive that is specifically designed to analyze your system for damages or compromises. Now, this program only requires one thing to activate it in your avatar technology. It requires the user to engage it through stimulation or touch. This is the very principle of your homeopathy and your healing homeopathic technology. I began lecturing on this and speaking to doctors and other practitioners and patients, and have for the last decade now, always expressing that you are a homeopathic supercomputer, and the deepest power of your healing technology comes from within.
Simple understanding that the body, the power that made the body can heal the body. That's the simplest thing you need to know. And the only thing that causes problems in that process is interference. And there's basically three types of interference. There's physical interference, like an injury, broken bone, a physical injury, like car accident, blunt trauma to the head. There's a lot of different things that can cause a physical injury, and that will initiate a healing process, but also it can inhibit a healing process if the injury is severe enough where scar tissue forms. And then that scar tissue has to be broken down either manually or through different types of therapy to replace it with normal healthy tissue. That's on the physical level. And then we have the biochemical, which would be everything from the environment to the food you're eating, the air you're breathing, the water you're drinking. Everything that comes in your body is biochemical. And so that's a whole basket of things now that we live in a highly toxic environment that we have to deal with. So one of the strategies is learning how to naturally accelerate and help the body with the detox process, because we all need to detox the poisonous chemicals that we're being exposed to on a daily basis for our whole lives. So that includes things like coffee enemas, infrared saunas, doing ice baths, doing ozone therapy rectally, drinking ozonated water, drinking special electro water that helps clean the arteries and cleans the plaque out of the body. So these are all strategies that we employ in Transformational Healing Universe to help with the detox of the chemicals. So that's important, because if you don't take those nasty ass chemicals out of your body, it's harder for your inner healer to do its job. So you're just giving it assistance. And finally, the last piece of the puzzle is mental emotional. So all the traumas that we've incurred since time of conception. So your mother maybe got in an argument, father hit her, she had to have a surgery, that got imprinted into the fetus, and guess what? Now that fetus is expressing or trying to deal with a trauma before it was even born, trauma that it got imprinted with. And then everything throughout our life imprints.
And so we collect all of our chemical memory from everything that's happened to us. And these ancient sciences, whether it be neuromuscular therapy or Tai Chi or the yogic sciences, activate the body on a deeper level of its engineering, of its divinity, to wake it up to this divine alchemy, this refinement, purification to a higher place. And that is the transformation that took place for me in my life, that healed me of different injuries and health challenges. And through that transformation was I able to create these templates and this system to bring it to humanity, to bring this awareness that you are your own practitioner, you are your own healer. But you got to be connected to the healer on the inside that's got the analysis and diagnostic for everything going on with this body that you've been in. And so through that, this system was created, and it is my focus to bring this awareness for healing to humanity.
How is mind, body, and spirit connected through the healing process? Well, all diseases begin in the mind, which is connected with the emotions, of course. But the mind is the generator of illness or dis-ease. So mentally, we have to keep check of our thoughts as much as possible daily. Anger, bitterness, resentment, all of these things filter down from the mind, which is the spiritual source of the individual, and then into the emotions, which is the soul of the individual, and then that will manifest in some sort of a symptom or dis-ease in the body, i.e. the liver, the heart. Anyone who has problems with an organ, you can rest assured that you could trace it back to a problem with their mind, which then has affected their emotions and then directly affected that particular organ.
Forget about being enlightened if you're on this planet at this time. Focus on getting in neutral, right? Neutrality right now would be the first ascended state to get to, but you can't get there if you're full of toxicity, stress, tension, distortion, fear, and separation consciousness. It's an impossibility. Those states are diametrically opposed to enlightenment, awareness, consciousness, and wakefulness.
Let's look at the science behind your tech without getting too complicated. Your avatar body is electromagnetic, which means it has to have a power source. Since our avatar tech is made primarily of water, that makes us piezoelectric in our battery system. That means our battery is solution-based, and that solution has three potential states. It can steal electrons, it can give electrons, or it can be neutral. Here's some basic specs for our avatar device in case you weren't familiar. Our divine tech has a millivolt charge that is actually how our pH balance is determined. Plus 500 millivolts equals 0, completely acidic. Negative 500 millivolts equals 14, which is completely alkaline. Negative 25 millivolts equals 3.4 to 3.5, which is pH balanced, which is the pH balance of healthy cell tissue. Our healthy avatar is operating at negative 25 millivolts. Growing avatar cellular tissue would require a millivolts charge of negative 50. So we have a negative 50 millivolts charge to create the energy to regenerate new cells, and our device requires the proper base nutrients and material components to regenerate and build cellular tissue. So, in review, we need both energy and raw materials to build or regenerate our divine temple or avatar supercomputer. And STRAUMA, which is stress plus trauma plus time, collects in our body and compromises our device's optimal operation, which translates to our quality of life. All that STRAUMA collects in the body and affects the millivolt charge of the device to go down, which compromises the cell production. All chronic disease comes from the body's inability to continue producing cells. Here's some cellular production statistics for your mobile electronic device. The macula of your eye is only 48 hours old. Your digestive system is only 3 weeks old. The skin currently on your avatar is only 6 weeks old. Your liver is only 8 weeks old. All of the parts in our device are constantly taking on wear and tear and requiring to regenerate new cells. You're in luck. You have an app for that. This is where general daily service and maintenance to your device is required for optimal performance. There are many active practices we could do to move the body, stimulate our electron battery charge. But this is still a form of stress on the body, which brings us to the more passive regenerative practices that come in, including the spiritual sciences of yoga and the East. There are several ancient practices that humans cultivated to activate our battery charge. All the Eastern spiritual sciences have now scientifically been documented to activate the inner physician, or inner healer, or application we've been exploring on this journey. I 100% support you to explore them all. I've even created multiple online platforms for you to learn and practice them. They will change your life. Not open or interested? That's okay. Your technology is so well designed, you can charge the electrons in your body just by touching and stimulating your tissue yourself. That's how integral touch is in your vehicle or device's operation, maintenance, and power supply. Remember, there's no warranty for our devices. We only get one. I trust this breakdown and exploration into your divine technology has really helped for you to truly see how powerful you are, or at least could be. And also, a powerful look into all of this knowledge and wisdom around your technology that has been kept from you until being introduced at this point. How different would your life, would your health, would your wellness, would your human experience have been had you learned all of this when you were just starting out as a new device? Something to think about. And I couldn't stop thinking about it. Now you know, there's an app for that.
Using the fingers going down. So again, remember, because we're doing self-applications, this is going to be very different than the actual spring cleaning series we're going to do on a patient. So as I'm coming down, I'm circling, as I'm circling, I'm planting and pulling, right? Now remember, don't rush with these, and remember the gentle contact in between the deep. Together. You're gonna blow all the air out through the mouth. We call this anchoring the breath. Staying breathless, we're gonna sit up, and we're gonna start with an inhale, twisting to the left, exhaling to the right. That I map, they all stem from the brachial plexus nerve. I like doing the arms because they're interactive tools in the world, so you really have a neat reference point. when we do one of your arms and compare it to the other. You guys, how are your arms feeling when you compare them? Is one feeling lighter, freer, cleaner? How's the other one feel? Like crap? Well, I want you to take a look at the fact that crap was your normal until you were given a reference point of freedom. So this is a big metaphor for us to understand we're desensitized to how our bodies are heavier and more sluggish. Our normal is actually not that great. And when you get a reference point of freedom with this work, there's no going back really. It's kind of like, wow, I could feel like this all the time. If we were to look at the body like a machine, there is an instruction manual for the machine, right? So there's an instruction manual for this machine, and it was lost. So yoga would be one of the parts in the instruction manual to service the body, right? Well, what am I doing right now? I'm strumming her like a guitar because she is an instrument. You all are, and you have electricity that runs along your strings, so to speak. So I'm using electricity, good, to flush the chemical memory. And when I do this, it's gonna light her up and make her laugh like it is right now. In fact, I've seen the grumpiest person light up from this work. Actually, it's quite amazing. In fact, I find grumpy people and I electrocute them. So I've opened just a couple on the inside, and I'm gonna open just a couple on the outside. Good. And what am I doing? I'm going across the muscle, and then I'm gonna go along it. Here it goes. Very good. Very quick. Very electrical. Excellent. And again, this is just, we're just playing around a little bit. Good. Let's settle. Now, at this point when we've electrocuted her, when we've activated her, I want you to take a look, just from even what we've done, I want you to take a look at this shoulder. You can see it's a little bit lower and more lateral, meaning it's farther away from the center point. And the main thing that's going to really activate this is we're going to do this big one right here. Boom. Hello. Good. Very good. And let that fall. Excellent.
It really does feel like you're electrocuting me.
Because we literally are. It's not pretend. I promise. So as we've done this for you, as we've activated you, now your body's a biological computer, so it needs time to process. So every technique we do with this work, I leave the room after we do a sequence and we let your body process it. During that time, I want you to just go inside and be the witness and pay attention to your body. What am I feeling? Where is this communicating to? What areas? And then give it a minute or so, and then I want you to play with the 2 arms to see what you feel. And this is why. I want you to think of your bodies like a corkscrew that's bound up. So it's like this. And we're going to open and decompress it, and then it's going to start compressing back, right? And then we're going to open it and compress it farther, and then eventually it's going to go back open. Do you know what I mean? But it's so bound and twisted and warped. When you're developing as a woman, and what do? You withdraw from feeling the attention from the world, and you collapse your chest, and the sutures along your breastplate remain short instead of extended, and look at how collapsed and disempowered you look, as opposed to like a queen, you're standing like a peasant. Then your stomach comes out, because watch what happens when I lift that. You see how the stomach flattens? But when I'm collapsed, I still need expansion. I'm not getting the expansion. I'm not getting 30% more oxygen from each breath. So eventually, as we uncork and decompress you, you're going to naturally be standing this way. And the first time we do your spring cleaning, you're going to be standing this way, you're going to feel amazing, and then 10 minutes later, you're going to be back here again. Here's where mindful integration comes in. That's the phrase, okay? You have to maintain this. It's not just us doing this for you and you get off the table and it's done. Your treatment starts when you get off the table, not while you're on it. When you're on the table with me, that's just the technique. I'm putting the technique into place and activating you to fix you. After that is when the actual treatment begins. And your treatment doesn't stop until I see you again. It continues on. So it's about finding what this feels like, warping into this, and then bringing yourself back again. Okay, cool. This is where I'm supposed to be, feeling into this. Oh, wow, somebody just said something to me that was criticizing, and I sank into this. I'll look at that pattern. It's about paying attention and making use of the work. Or you can just have me decompress you physically and then go through that aspect. There are layers to the depth consciously that you choose to go through with this work. I have some people that have the most profound spiritual and conscious transformations, and then I have people that I just help them to relieve their physical pain and make their body function better. It's totally up to you.
I began asking all sorts of people, curious of their prerequisite knowledge around touch, around the power of healing. How deep did this indoctrination go? I would ask random people in the streets, my patients I'd speak to at lectures or in the clinic.
What is the inner physician healer to me? The inner physician and healer is the individual that we are all gifted with to be. Each one of us has a healing gift. Now, that healing gift could be a mental, it could be emotional, it could be a physical gift. But each one of us has the ability to heal ourselves and others. That's how we were born. When you get a scratch, you don't panic that it's going to be there forever. You know that if you just let it be, in time it will heal. This is the power that we have. We have this power to be a physician and a healer, not just for ourselves, but for everyone.
We lose a loved one, we go through a divorce, we lose a job, there's a war that happens, or there's a COVID that happens, there's a million things that can affect our psyche and our mental emotional state. And those things can imprint on our physical, in the morphogenetic field in the cell memory, and that has to get erased for the inner healer to do its job properly. And the strategies that we use in this clinic, primarily we use something called CyberScan, which is a morphogenetic testing device from Germany that actually scans the energy field for these different types of interference, the physical, the biochemical, and the mental emotional. And we make a remedy card that is imprinted with a frequency to help the body clear those traumas. In addition, we also do things like breath work, Wim Hof breathing, different forms of therapy. The Therify is a very powerful 0-point field that you go in that erases all the trauma out of the field of the cells, and it brings you to a point of bliss and peace. So that's on the mental emotional level. So when we put all three together, we're maximizing that inner healer's ability, giving it the best chance that it can have to heal us. And of course, touch is super, super powerful if done with the right intent and with love. It's essential for touch all through the body, that we touch ourselves, that we learn how to massage and stimulate. I massage myself daily when I go to bed. I do a mechanical massage. You can do it with your fingers. You can do it with scanar devices, with electrostim. There's all kinds of biohacking ways that you can stimulate the body to reset itself.
It's based off the principle of activating your inner physician, which is like an app or a program for this biological computer. And through that program, it has the ability to heal anything that's wrong with you, because it has a diagnostic for anything that's wrong with you, because it's inside the system. The program requires one thing: engagement.
And at one point, touched base with one of the greatest sources of wisdom in my life at the time, who has since passed from this world, my sweet Grandma Jay. She was a school teacher through the 50s. And I thought it would be interesting to see what was her relationship or her perspective on touch in schools with children back in the day. Now, my grandma had a mild form of dementia that progressed up until when she passed. But for me, the dementia was magic. It brought her to this pure place of innocence, and yet so much deep wisdom still came through her. This is what she had to share.
So Grandma, what do you think about the power of touch? What?
What do you think about the power of touch? Like human touch, contact?
I hadn't thought much about it.
In terms of like how necessary it is for humans to stay connected and...
Is that right? Just
No?
a touch?
Just the little contact, yeah. What do you think about that?
Well, if somebody was lonely, I think it would be good. But first graders, they come to school and they want to try everything.
Right.
And one of the rules that we have is that, you know, there's no pugnacious attacks or anything. If you want to be friendly with someone, you just touch them very carefully. Or you don't have to touch them at all. Even a smile
Right.
is a touch.
Yeah.
If you get the right smile,
That's beautiful.
yeah.
Yeah.
And my little people were very happy when I taught school. And they always called me Ms. Jefferson. Ms. Jefferson, can we do this? And if it wasn't something that was destructive, well, sure. Tell me about it.
Right.
Maybe other people would enjoy it.
Right. That's awesome. I bet you're an amazing teacher.
Oh, I love teaching.
And so I took all these reflections from people, their feedback, their perception of touch, of self-knowledge and of healing, and I applied it into the development of this system to awaken the inner physician.
Kinesthetic invisibility. When I make contact with the skin, and I make contact and I'm gentle, and then I dive deep, rotate or manipulate, and then I'm soft again. And when I move to the next point, I'm dragging, almost soft. So even though you see me doing this fast, my plant and pull, my deep penetration to the gentle feathering is going to be very quick. See, but I'm still honoring that, which is why I'm not irritating my skin. So you can technically move with that kneading anywhere in the body.
Hi, I'm Keith Mitchell, former NFL football player turned yogi and mindfulness teacher. What I do now, I go around talking about the power of meditation, power of mindfulness, empowering individuals to heal the wounds, past traumas, and how they can be empowered to do not only just heal themselves, but also heal the world and share it with the community. So I came down to Ojai to check out Micah and the sessions that he does and the body work, and blew my mind. You know, my expectations, I had no expectations. I didn't know what I was walking myself into. I've seen videos, and but really sitting down and experiencing the work just blew me away. I've been here ever since, I guess. I came in like thinking I was gonna be here for an hour, so I'm still here. Like 8 hours later. The work is phenomenal, and the people that's taken, you know, the work and hearing their stories and seeing how they're natural healers themselves, really motivated just to see people take this power and take this message and want to spread it to, you know, throughout the world. Going back to the work that we did in my body, you know, suffering so many injuries from trauma that we've created by playing such a violent game as football. We were really going into some deep places of just really things undiscovered, you know, really unnoticed. Sometimes, you know, we just kind of hide and embed some of these wounds and some of these traumas and the emotional sides of it even. And really opening those things up was just one of the most fascinating things I experienced today. And I had a full audience. You know, I was kind of on the spot with that, but it's okay because I'm really exploring that opportunity of being vulnerable. But the places we were really opening up in my hips, my legs, my neck and shoulders, you know, I've taken, you know, so much pounding in those areas, and man, it was just an eye opener to see, you know, all the things that we were just, you know, again, holding and housing and what that felt like and what it looked like, and not only to just experience the feeling of that, but to release it. I mean, I think, and the work really showed up right away. You know, it was instantaneously. As soon as we go through the process of releasing and stripping down the muscle, it was just a clearing. It was like a freedom that, you know, from one side to the other, I mean, is undeniable. Like this one side is free and this other side is just stuck. And then when you could combine it and have the freedom in both, you're like, okay, what's next? What else is possible? You know, we've just been having a great time, and just, you know, again, the community that's here and the energy, you know, and all these healers here. It's just an amazing setting, amazing food, amazing people. It's great to be a part of it. What would I say about this work? Definitely I'm inspired to share it with the people and really show and share who Micah is, and his story is like, you know, as soon as you get on the table, as soon as he gets into the muscle, you already know from there that he knows what he's doing, and he builds that trust with you in it. And I just think more people could benefit from just, you know, experiencing the openness of just uncovering the wounds that, you know, that we never knew or never really realized that were still there. And we've adapted to the feelings of them being locked into our bodies, but really to just get into that place where we can just open it up and release.
Go, come down the arm now. These muscles. Come down to the hands. Good. Good. It's a fun one, isn't it? These are huge trauma patterns. Yeah. Good. Good. Give me that one. It's amazing. We want to hold on to our stuff, which is amazing to me. Yeah, right. You know, it's like, wait, this stuff is paining me, but I'm having a hard time walking. But here we go. Boom. Good. At the hand. That one is just left. Yeah. Think about it, bro. This hand is your tool. This is your instrument. If this thing breaks down, you can't do your art anymore. It's like losing all four. Good. Here we go. Got it. Okay, coming up. That lat. Here we go. Pulling it out a little bit. Here we go. Good. Good. Excellent.
See why you want like soundproof,
right? Soundproof rooms would be nice. Good. Now let that settle. Feel out that arm now compared to the other one. You feel that left one still lighter, but that one's feeling like it's catching up finally. Right? Lighter, freer, cleaner, as it should be.
We're at this point, this crossroad, and this is the time to sit back and investigate and filter through what's relevant for you on the call. And then figure out a way to get in contact with Micah or get in contact with me so that we can help you grow beyond your limitations. That's what he and I were designed for. Nothing else. I don't want a trophy. I don't want any recognition. I don't even care about that stuff. But what I do care about is I care about humanity. I care about myself. I care about my family. I care about my friends. I care about my community. And I want you all to have an opportunity to make an investment that's going to be a 10x return for you.
It all has a place and a purpose. And if you listen and you're open, God will guide you to the right things that will work cohesively. But you have to receive. It's the hardest thing for humans to do, is receive. And pay attention, you know. Spirit brings amazing things in all the time, but we pass them up, or we doubt, or we go into a fear place and we miss all this cool stuff that's right there for you. A lot of times it's because we're in this thing all the time. See, if you're thinking, you're not engaged with the matrix, you're not taking in everything that's brought in front of you. So the mind is one of the greatest compromises to enjoying life and to being in correctness, in a divine flow with things. So thank you guys for being in divine flow with me tonight. Receiving, letting me electrocute you all. Appreciate you. I appreciate you guys coming and holding space with me and showing up for yourselves.
I have seen thousands of clients and patients over the last 20 years, and early on I saw that the most fascinating rebirthing process happens within each person as they release their trauma.
Show me that shoulder again. Look at that. And that was your weak arm too. Here. You couldn't even push that? Wow. 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 So awesome. And we're just getting started.
Each uniquely different, as everyone's stress and trauma since birth is specific to them, as well as how they've experienced it over time and how they release it when they activate their mind-body paradigm to release.
You could.
It's more impressive than falling back. Yeah, there. Oh my gosh.
Wow.
Makes noise.
Doesn't look like somebody with Parkinson's to me. Wow. And take a deep breath. Let me just see the chest even. Just let your arms lie flat and take that deep breath. Wow. Your whole frame looks so expanded and just centered and balanced and still unbelievable. Wow, you're amazing. We're just getting started too. I told you. It's possible.
Yes.
Anything is possible. You did this. You are the greatest healer to heal you. And it's, wow.
All right. So which side is the side that's giving you that you're feeling the most like loss of control?
Right side.
The right side. Okay. All right. Let's start with the right then. So now try to let the whole arm drop on the shoulder. Let it hang dead weight, even while it's shaking. So you have 5 nerves throughout the arm. When we use the bioelectricity, we're going to flush the chemical memory of it. And how long has it been diagnosed with Parkinson's?
Well, not really diagnosed with Parkinson's.
Okay.
But I've had the symptoms for 10 years.
10 years.
Went to every doctor I went to said it wasn't Parkinson's, it was something else. And then finally, here wide last year said, okay, I think it's Parkinson's.
All right, here we go. You're gonna feel it go right down through the arm. Good. Feel that?
Yeah.
Good. Here we go. Now come down to the elbow. Boom. There it goes. Let's just open that up a little bit. There it goes. Yep. Take it down. Oh. Yeah, no one's gotten into these for some time.
See? I can almost not even go over this tendon because it's so seized. See, what I found is there's just no way to really get this deeper residue to come out without going in and actually really facing it. Everything else, after the first time we do it, and even now you'll notice as I start doing it, is less and less. It's just because it's kind of like with acupuncture, the first points, when they hit those points will be the most intense and then they kind of settle in. You're hitting a large concentration of stuff and it's inflamed or agitated. Good. Yeah, here we go. Okay. Yeah. Let's just open all this up and get that to start settling. See, now these right here, this is just so seized. What we're dealing with is a lot of neurological compromise, but also a lot of atrophy because the muscles have been surging for so long that they're just half of what's going to get your arm to come back is what we're going to be doing on a muscular level, to just cross laterally open a lot of the muscle. See, I'm going across and along the muscle, and that's causing it to unlock. I know. I know, right? There it goes. Man, this is going to be a lot. We're going through large amounts of this stuff at one time. Okay, good. Bring the shoulder blade you're showing it. And drop. Good, beautiful. Use the breath. And up. And drop. Excellent. And up. And drop. Good. Okay.
Doing good. Stay with your breath.
Oh, here we go. Yeah, just stay with the breath. This is just like rebirthing. You're rebirthing all this suffering collected.
Allow it to come out, whatever comes up.
So your breath is the only thing you have. Now, move this nerve back here. Good. Going. Better. Now, here we go. We're going to hit the whole thing. This is the vagus. You're going to feel this go right down. Here we go. Boom. Good. Good. Got it. Drop that shoulder. Good. And drop. Superclavicular. Fairly quick, fairly electrical. Good. Okay, here we go. And bring this arm all the way up and over. Here we go. We're going to rotate out. All the way. Keep going. Pushing, pushing. Keep going. Push. All the way there. Keep going. Keep going. Push, 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 push. All the way. Good. Okay, last one. Clearing the vagus. Drop that. Good. Yeah, I think we're helping you. Oh, and drop. And drop that. Good. All right, now just let that settle for a minute. Different. The emotions, everything that has to come out, it's all part of this weird chemical matrix that starts degenerating us. Even acetylcholine, the primary chemical for
action in the body, it accumulates and becomes rancid. And it starts corroding the nerves, which means they just start glitching, you know? So this is just us playing a little bit with one side, and I just want you to play with the difference. Use your 2 arms. Just see what you can do with it compared to, yeah, more control. Of course, and you should feel a lot of electricity and all kinds of stuff happening in here. Now that's this internal process with what I call the I physician, the internal physician. You have this program that's designed to run an analysis and fix stuff, and that's happening and will happen for weeks after we do this the first time. Here's what happens is we upload this program into your system. It's really just remembering it, and then when we do it again, now the body knows what to do with what we're doing, which is basically we're going across and along the tissue and we're unlocking it to its sacred geometry, right? And it starts draining this memory, and it's like recalibrating and fixing itself. And 5 minutes from now, 10 minutes from now, you're going to notice different stages to what's happening with it, because we started a process internally. It's an inside job, it has nothing really to do with me. And so when we do this work from head to toe, it's done with a series of integrations where I go out of the room and I let you sit for about 8 minutes to process internally what's happening. Then I come back in and I do the next set of techniques, and then I go out of the room. And over those integrations, you go into your breath and you follow the journey inside of everything that's going to come out. Little kid stuff, you won't even believe what's the root of why your body is degenerated neurologically in this way, right? But it's always something we've been carrying. Because if you weren't carrying that and you were in a pure state of love, your body would have fixed that already. You wouldn't have gotten to this state, and that's okay. So, and that's the biggest thing for us all to take accountability for, is I'm in pain because I wasn't taught this. They didn't teach us this on purpose, to keep us not in our power. That's the truth of it, is when you're love, you're this, you can heal yourself from anything. Is to get back to this, in this thing. Your consciousness can much quicker, but the body's the slowpoke, and it's carrying all the chemical weight of everything that's happened to us. And we're designed to just be touched every day. Yeah, and so we don't get that, so we just accumulate, and as we accumulate, we become this chemical vessel that's weighted down from our history, and this is why this happens, and we can change it. There were some very specific rebirths that were so transformational. They healed me and others witnessing in support.
Okay, hi, my name is Jesse Bogdanovich. I was vaccinated by the polio vaccine when I was a baby, and got completely paralyzed and had extreme pain. And if it wasn't for fasting and raw food, I wouldn't be here today. So it actually saved my life. And what's left of it is my right knee is going in a little bit, and Micah's work has been just did one session a couple days ago, and now I'm going to do another session, and it's really been helping. My knee's been going a little bit straighter already just after 2 sessions, so it's amazing work you do.
Actually, the breath out, AHA sound. Every time I push, ready?
I had so much pain from this polio vaccine and stuff. I actually wanted to jump off a building several times. And fasting took that pain away and saved my life. So I'm so grateful for these natural ways, and that I didn't give up.
What does it feel like when your nervous system gets reset?
It feels like kind of like tingling and a little bit of fire at the same time. And my legs just start bouncing all over the place. It's pretty amazing. That's that.
Alright, you kind of like unlocked it when you worked on it. It really went stiff. You were like loosening things up, and it really went stiff and stuck. And now I think it's kind of unlocked, and the flow is there now. As you can see them cracking up.
Let's see what it's like
when I walk
to go vertical. Curious.
Oh. Yeah. I'm feeling pretty dizzy.
Mm-hmm. Those are busy endorphins. Mm-hmm.
I feel like I don't even recognize my leg. Isn't that weird?
It feels stronger.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not turning in as much. When you put weight on it, I'm seeing. Yeah. But it looks like it's new for you.
Yeah. I'm tingling like everywhere in a different way.
Big things for the future.
Yeah.
It's exciting.
Yeah, it is.
Awesome.
Yeah, thanks for the work you do.
Thank you for sharing your story.
Yeah, because I'm helping a lot of people with health also.
Yeah. Just bringing awareness.
Yeah, that's it.
The potential of the human body to heal itself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, never give up, guys. Never, ever, ever give up. There's always a way.
Always.
Yeah. Always a solution, multiple solutions for every problem, so don't give up.
It was then that I knew showing this to the world was one of the most important things I was here on this planet to do. The human being is constantly recording memory, life experience. It is through this process that we are designed to be touched, to be released. It is a mechanical imperative of our bodies, and it has been repressed, suppressed, and alienated in almost every culture. Come with us to explore the power of touch as we journey around the world collaborating with a plethora of healers and medical practitioners, healing communities from all walks of life, healing the children. Now is the time to show the reunification of our people to one tribe, one community, connected through the power of release.
I am the blank page before you. I am the fine idea you crave. I live and breathe under the moon. And when you cross the bridge, I'll come find you.
I'm literally standing up straighter. I'm able to crack my spine for the first time using just my breath and straightening myself. I'm a third of an inch taller. I feel amazing.
Micah's work is by far the most unique body work I've ever actually been able to experience from anybody else, and I've had a ton of body work.
You know, difficult thing come through with this, also this safety pleasure container. And so it's just this meeting spot that was so interesting and just full and just it's just everything is lit up.
It went from numb to fully open. And I can feel it energetically.
And these wires then entered my stomach and then went up and were drilled into my heart. Eventually they had to remove.
I feel so blessed to have met you, dude. Thank you so much for your help. And I really appreciate it. I'll literally be like forever in your debt.
So part of what really attracted me to Micah's work for myself and for others was that I watched two people very dear to me who had done years of spiritual work actually end up leaving this planet through different ways. One had an accident and the other was through an illness. But I really intuitively felt that it was because they were carrying so much trauma in their body that, once again, even though they had done so much work in kind of the etherical and spiritual realms, their physical bodies were still these cages that were just carrying this really, really, really intense trauma, and they weren't able to move through it. And the moment that I heard what Micah did, even before I had the experience, I felt that this could be really life-changing for people who have gone through traumatic experiences or abuse at a young age. And then after experiencing it, I just know that this is something that is so profound and so life-changing, and I honestly feel it could save a lot of lives.
What was so fascinating for me was I had no idea that I had that type of sensation, electricity in my body.
The excitement I have about working with Micah is that it's a great compliment. He adds something so much more to what I do with the body, but I can also add, because it creates an environment for a greater sustainability to his work, and it adds such an incredible dimension to mine.
Just be prepared to be released. Seriously released. Did I mention released? Very released.
There it goes. Almost there. Got it. Almost there. Got it. Keep going, you got this. Take that hand if you need to and pull. Yep, all the way. Keep it going. Yep. All the way. And biting back down, so there we go, good. Good, shake it out, good. Let that come up. Let it come up. Let it come up and drain. Good. It doesn't serve you anymore.
Sometimes I want to kiss you and punch you in the face at the same time.
That's sweet.
We filmed over the last 15 years and went to 14 countries, showing how touch and true medical self-knowledge of the body was deeply compromised and in some places non-existent. My co-director and I took a hiatus filming internationally after going through Europe and Iceland. And I began training more NMRT practitioners, and we filmed the trainings as part of our film. After completing the 3rd apprenticeship training, we had 25 NMRT practitioners in the world. We had accumulated over 600 hours of footage sitting on our hard drives, and I wasn't able to get it before my co-director left country on some other projects. My focus was brought to full attention on the birth of my 2nd son on the island of Kauai. I went deep into the process of service to my family, my ohana. And my journey continued, sharing neuromuscular release therapy and helping people to understand and discover the greatest power of healing comes from within. And it led me to some pretty amazing people that found me, that were willing to share their story of healing as well as a part of release.
Okay, here's my testimonial.
Okay.
Once again, I have crashed into something, fortunately. I've crashed into something that is more mysterious than my own behavior. And I met Mr. Micah Sky at the airport in Hawaii. And, one look at me would make someone like Micah say, you could use a little work. I know that feeling because I do it to people myself. But not like you can't quite do it to yourself. So anyway, he convinced me, and I was an easy one to convince that he could help me move a little better, walk a little better, and maybe certainly that would affect the way I talk and think. So I had a kind of a gimpy knee. I had a torn meniscus. I had a surgery on it. It's never healed quite right. I've never gotten it quite rehabbed. So I've come up here into the wilderness of Hawaii, if there is such a thing, and I've had a lot. Micah just did a lot of things to my leg that you would ordinarily punch someone for. And I allowed it. And I remember reading something recently. They said, if you believe something is going to happen, a whole different thing can occur. So, as much as I wanted it to improve my health and my well-being, I believed it was going to happen, and I think it has happened. I'm standing differently. My weight is even on my feet. I'm probably really dangerous. I probably know some sort of martial art that I did. I'm probably very dangerous. And look out, here's a pregnant woman. Be careful. All right. Watch out. There could be lemurs or anything else up in the freezer. It's all clear. You can run through it. It's all clear.
Well, I'm grateful to you. Seriously, thank you for being a part of this release process.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, we're just getting started. I want you to know this is just the beginning. All
right.
And just it's impressive we can do this with a little bit, but when we go through the whole system, I'm really excited, and it's an honor to be with this.
Yeah, it's nothing like how body just
Nothing like it.
Nothing like it.
So that was me.
Oh my God.
Is that going to happen? You think that could happen for me?
That's her testimony.
This is what can happen to you.
Yeah.
You can have the growth.
I got my fingers crossed. I didn't think I wanted any more, but I guess
you know what? He's inspired.
If I delivered it myself, I think that would change everything. I'm sure that would change everything.
Big time.
So funny. Taking on down the Laughterville. You're like, dude, this guy's ridiculous.
Really late, bro.
No, me. You're thinking.
I'm thinking about you.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
I am ridiculous.
Okay.
You know what I am, right? I'm a Heyoka.
Heyoka.
Native American medicine clown. Whenever people are super like, this is the way. Wait, check it out. Whenever people are super like, this is the way it is, I'm like.
Aloha. What's your name?
Makana. And we're here on Kauai. I met Micah about a year and a half ago, backstage at a festival I was performing at, and talked about neuromuscular therapy release, and I liked the idea, it made sense, and so we finally connected. I had one session, and it was extremely uncomfortable and intense and invasive and creepy, and probably one of the most important things I've ever done for my body and my whole being. following the session, I felt really not only different in my body, but I felt aware that I had been constricted in ways that I just adapted to, that were really limiting my potential. And it was just last night, so I felt taller. The first thing I noticed was my feet were more firmly in the ground. One thing I noticed was, up until yesterday, she'd always talk about, letting the earth support you. And I was like, okay, I think I understand what you're talking about, but it just wasn't connecting. And after I got off the table yesterday, after the first session, the earth was supporting me. I felt like there was a magnet there. It was the craziest feeling. That was a very visceral reaction. And of course, things were more back to where they should be structurally rather than compressed. During the session, it was odd. I laughed hysterically, like uncontrollably. I think that's just how I respond to being uncomfortable or in pain. I just laugh. And I laughed a lot. So yeah, so here we are, second session, and we're gonna do, I can already feel, now that I'm aware, I can feel where I haven't had the work done. It's kind of bothering me. So that's where I'm at right now.
Blessings, yeah. And that agitation almost is the body communicating to show you the areas it's not ready for you to do the same thing to. Because it's like, oh, you're listening now? Oh, let me point out all of the beautiful lists of things that's nice.
Yeah, a lot of people ask me, like, oh, is this like Reiki? Is this kind of energy thing? I mean, everything's energy, but I don't like to use those terms because they get very unscientific and airy-fairy. And I mean, this is like physical manipulation, deep physical manipulation. It's intense, and it's like resetting. It's kind of like resetting the circuit breaker for your body, depending on what localized area it's pushing in. And it's almost like they have some mechanisms where you press and lock, and then to unlock you have to press deeper, and then it comes out. It's like that kind of vibe.
And my journey continued, sharing neuromuscular release therapy and helping people to understand and discover the greatest power of healing comes from within. And the years went by. My director, John Nash, was still filming out of country on other projects, and I still didn't have access to that 600 hours of footage stuck on hard drives in Los Angeles before I went back to Kauai. Then we had a global shutdown of the world over a seasonal virus strain with a 99.99, you get the picture, survival rate. We're on the brink of a new age cosmologically, and that means a lot of change on the horizon. It was clear that the world needed this film now more than ever. And by divine alignment, my co-director and dear friend came out to the island with that 600 hours of footage several years later to the day of us returning from filming and brought it to me. So I began the post-production lockdown process of reliving our magical journey through foreign lands, but familiar people, sharing the power of healing as we follow some amazing individuals on their journey of healing thySelf, and the power of what we're all holding from our past that must be released to heal and empower our present. I was shown when originally envisioning this powerful journey of bearing witness to a rebirthing process that it is those with the greatest challenges and ailments that are the most powerful to invoke one's own self-awareness to their healing process, calling from within. Through this film, we take you on a journey following some very amazing individuals who have been handed greater challenges than most could face, survive, and transcend. We all have faced trauma events in our lives, and we all face day-to-day stress. But in the face of those who have suffered unimaginable challenges in this life, it tends to put our situation into perspective and brings about a greater awareness and inspiration for us to face our trauma and stress, what we call STRAUMA, as you've discovered, and release it. Call it a placebo effect, but it began happening when people would watch the trailer that we released years ago for release. People would write us and describe going through a huge release watching people release. We knew we were on to something profound, but nothing could have prepared us for the journey that unfolded on our first international tour, filming for a global context around touch and healing that we filmed in 4K, and we are honored to share with you, and one specifically amazing individual who changed our lives forever, became our ohana, our family, and will show you, as she did us, what the true power of the human spirit can do. We have several countries we still want to go film in, and we will, once the truth is fully exposed and the medical tyranny ends. Until then, I've been blessed to teach the ancient sciences virtually through the Syncretism Society Virtual Academy. I have a weekly radio show, an internet TV show,
with us healing thyself.
and I run a news and intel channel on one of the only free platforms left on the internet, Telegram. Sharing knowledge and truth and supporting humanity to awaken. So think of this as our almost full-length documentary on the power of touch and healing. And like the healing process, it's never finished. We just know we need to share this with humanity now. Sometimes one individual can truly open your eyes to greater transpersonal awareness as they embody such deeply connected aspects of our humanity that connects us all. It seems we need to be finding that collective connection to our humanity now more than ever. All these magical people that you've seen have done that for us. And we believe by watching them that they'll do that for you too. She did that for us. Her name is Molly. And this is our story. Unfortunately, we had to break this film up into 2 parts. And there's another one that we're now diligently working on to bring out to the world later this year. We're just beginning this adventure.
Okie dokie. Aloha!
Aloha. We've been talking for so long. Yeah, virtually. Wow, I'm excited to be here. So it begins.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Let the journey
Awesome.
begin.
Yeah.
Get closer, Mallory.
It's Mally, not Mallory.
This is Mallory. I like Mallory.
No, okay. So now tea smoothie and Mallory, okay?
Yes, you're expanding, you know.
Is that what we're doing?
Yeah.
So we're refining and evolving?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
You just have to guide me.
I thought you were supposed to guide me. You were supposed to be the guide here.
I'm not. I'm just the organizer. Organizer, what do you say?
Producer. Yeah. Tour producer.
I'm
There
a
you go.
tour producer. I like this new
Wow,
word.
See that?
Yeah.
Wow. So here we are.
Hmm.
It's amazing to be here. I'm so grateful for you, and I know for John and I, it's fascinating that we're here because of what we made so far, and that it's affected people, and it's fueled the manifestation of what we've been doing to continue and go to a vision that we initially saw together, and to watch it come to fruition is so magical. So we're both just so grateful for you and for for what you're bringing to the table, and I'm so excited to work with you and have you personally,
personally be affected and healed by this work, and to see all the people that you have brought us here to help, to see them be helped, and to see how you affected all these people. You were the catalyst. So, but introduce yourself. And this is our open introductory interview.
I'm Melly. I'm born and raised in Iceland. I live in Denmark. I have one arm and I lost. Do I have to speak about that or?
I think it'd be really amazing and powerful. Yeah.
It's okay.
Share your story. Share what led you to this point, to your awakening, and to even finding us.
Yes,
you know?
I have a big trauma, both the physical and the psychological and emotional. I have been through a big accident when I was 13 years old. I lost all of my scalp and my left arm. But I survived, and I just went to life happy and positive and joyous, and no problems at all. And then in 2004, I got hit with this extreme anxiety, panic attacks, death anxiety, every anxiety you could imagine. I got it out of the blue. And I thought it was something, I thought it was physical. I didn't believe the doctors. They couldn't find anything wrong with me. And I was just like, I have always been positive, and it can't be physical. It can't be psychological. It has to be physical. It took me, I doubted the doctors for 2 years. And then I had to accept it was, emotional, or I don't know, what you call it. It was psychic. Or
Psychophysical.
Yes.
That's the word I use.
And I was paralyzed, completely paralyzed. I had to like crawl again. I had to, I was paralyzed, and I couldn't live like this. And I had one intuition. It was just like no medicine. I can't take medicine. It will kill me. So I found, I digged very deep in personal development and spiritual and dietarian, and I found raw food, and my intuition said just eat fruit and vegetable, and I was just like crazy, who does that? It was very far away where I was then. And I just used everything I could, yoga, meditation, raw food, juices, every supplement, everything I could find I just used, and I built myself up, so I'm almost anxiety free. But there's always something. There's something sitting still in my body. It is a little bit difficult to get rid of it. And then when I found your video, and I was just like, he's the key. He's the key to get rid of everything, just to be free. So I was just like, he's coming to Denmark, and I wrote you, and it was just like my soul said, you have to get him to Denmark. And then I was sitting on the train from Copenhagen to Aalborg, where I live, and I contacted you and said, what does it need to take you to get you to come to Denmark? And we started talking, and then I just got a brainstorming hitting, and just I wrote, we can go to Norway and Sweden and Iceland and and Germany and it was just like brainstorming, downloading, as you would call it maybe. And then we just have been working toward that, and then finally you are here.
Yeah, and you pushed through many distanced communications because we didn't know if we were going to be able to pull this off.
Well, great. Let's wrap it up. Let's say that we're here and we're excited. Go ahead.
You're so bossy.
Go ahead.
That's what a director is.
Go ahead.
Bossy.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Okay, go ahead.
Michael.
So we're here. We're in Copenhagen. Our first stop on the tour, and our first lecture, and looking forward to bringing neuromuscular therapy and awareness around the power of touch to Copenhagen, and also taking a look at another culture's experience around touch and around intimacy. We're so grateful to be here with you, and the journey's just beginning.
Yes,
and,
it's exciting.
I'm excited. I'm the most excited to treat you and see what happens.
Oh my God, I'm afraid.
That's all right. As you, it's fear is false evidence
Yeah.
appearing.
I know. You know, the stuff that's here. You know, it's gonna. You know, I'm gonna feel it when it comes out. So I'm just like a. So yeah. It's exciting.
It's gonna get. It's when we face it, the freedom that comes. I'm really excited to see what happens, and excited for the next step. Our next stop from Copenhagen is Sweden.
Yeah, Sweden.
And we're gonna be on the road today.
Yes. Yeah, looking forward. I've never been to Sweden, so it's gonna be great.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it too. Yeah. So, bringing the power of touch and release to Europe.
Action.
Aloha from Copenhagen, Denmark. I'm here with Mally. This is Micah Sky. Our first stop on the European tour, and we have a lecture in the city. Hopefully, be healing some people here. Then we're off to Sweden, then Norway, then
Denmark again.
Aalborg,
Yeah.
Denmark. Then we go to Berlin, Amsterdam, Paris, London, and then we finish in Iceland. So it's going to be a pretty full tour. We're super excited to bring you on the journey, and looking forward to bringing just awareness about the power of touch and about releasing your past and your history and your suffering. And it'll be very interesting to see how these different cultures and the different societies respond to what we're doing, you know? So I'm really excited and honored to have you here and being our magical tour producer.
Yeah, producer. I like that.
So come with us, join us. We have quite a journey ahead, and we look forward to bringing you with us to bring more awareness about the power of release.
Say that again.
So join us.
Say it again.
Say so. Join us again.
Yeah.
John.
Just go. Go ahead.
So, join us as we go through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Look at her, and then look at me, and then say so. Join us. Go ahead.
So join us. We have quite a journey ahead, and we look forward to bringing you with us to bring more awareness about the power of release.